Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our bold analysis. President Uhuru Kenyatta, in his individual capacity, supported Raila Odinga wholeheartedly. But that goodwill perhaps did not get the backing of Statehouse operatives. I concur with these words from Rarieda MP Otiende Amollo, who is saying that despite the fact that Raila Odinga had the best chance on August 9th, but there are elements that are around President Uhuru Kenyatta, and they were still also on Raila Odinga's side that messed around with Raila Odinga, and that is why his victory was snatched. When speaking in Game Mutumbu in Siaya, the ODM stalwarts seems to be apportioning a blame to a specific camp that were around President Uhuru Kenyatta that might have messed the campaigns, or not even the campaigns, that messed with Baba's victory. I don't know what you think. Many have been, there is this narrative that the president did not want to hand over power to Raila, or the president did not support her. So I think I just want to ask one question. What do you think the president was supposed to do that he didn't do? Then if you get the answer, then you ask the question second. So who in the president's circle was supposed to do it? Because the president could not do it alone. Then if you answer the second question, you'll actually you will concur with this point that there are elements around President Uhuru Kenyatta. There was a camp around President Uhuru Kenyatta that sabotaged Raila Odinga. These are the words of Otiende Amollo. And remember, Otiende Amollo, James Orengo, Anyang' Nyong'o, for the first time in the campaign period, they were pushed to the periphery. And Raila Odinga assembled a dream team. And in the ODM, from the ODM party, it's only Babu Owino, Junet Mohammed, and Hassan Joho who are part of the mainstream team. Raila Odinga assembled the team that were the dream team, including the Charity Ngilu, Elizabeth Mayo, Martha Karua, the Mount Kenya team, including Sabina Chege, and the rest of the team. And these ODM stalwarts were actually pushed to the periphery. And there was another invisible camp, the Statehouse camp. These were the people that were the mouthpiece, or rather the eyes of President Uhuru Kenyatta in Raila Odinga's presidential bid. But I want to point out something, that maybe even if Raila Odinga's presidential bid now was hijacked and he had to assemble another team, he needed also to make sure that both sides, the State House side and his side ingine, he still has inroads, so that we would have known what exactly could be happening. Remember, the statement by Otiende Amollo is coming the same day when Raila Odinga's campaign communication secretariat, head of communication secretariat Makau Mutua, relieved Junet Mohammed from the attacks on sections of Azimio agents, of Azimio supporters, that believe he bungled and he ate the agents' money. I want to say something. I'm one person that reports emerged that Raila Odinga did not have agents in both Central and Rift Valley. The truth is their defense on not having agents, it's not satisfactory, saying that it's not the work of the politicians to do that. But in having Raila Odinga having participated in elections in this country, I think he really knew that they must invest at the polling station. In this channel, I insisted in my analysis that for any other political politician that wanted to get any seat in this country, you needed to invest in the polling station. That was in the open secret. So, who was the accounting officer? Those questions have been asked. But let me tell you, the catch is, some of the bloggers that are talking about agents who were not in other places, they are not telling you that there are places where there were no agents but results are not contested. So the question of agents that they were not paid or they were there or not there, to me does not meet the threshold, because some of these bloggers are talking about the money because allegedly some of them were not paid. I have been wondering how President Uhuru Kenyatta could not intercept underhand deals at the Electoral Agency Commission and the forces that were out to sabotage Raila Odinga. I'm personally been wondering about that. That the president had state machinery and everything and the intelligence to intercept. But why did it not become, why did you think he could not intercept these underhand deals? Because if Raila Odinga's victory was snatched, then it was snatched at Bomas of Kenya. It was not snatched at the polling station, as some people may want you to understand. And that question, then that my question is being answered by the statement by Otiende Amollo. The president meant well, but not anyone and everyone around President Uhuru Kenyatta meant well. And I want to tell you this camps what really played out. Ladies and gentlemen, we stay in a country that we are capitalists. Everyone for himself, God for us all. So mtu akipata loot, ana loot. This is one thing, one camp that were around president but were not really supporting Raila Odinga. This camp are the camp that saw the vigor and the strong reform agenda on Raila Karua ticket. Because that card was an integrity card and it was feared. It was feared not only by Raila Odinga's critics from Kenya Kwanza, but there were also, I understand, that there were also people that were working with President Uhuru Kenyatta, and they knew that if the president will exit the stage, then Raila will come in, and Raila and Martha Karua, being the lethal they had shown in the campaign trail, there was a need for some status quo. And in the fullness of time, there are people that might be, they just misled, they got information about some things that they want to tell the president or some intelligence and all other reports, but because there was a need for status quo and they could use this to negotiate. That if Raila would come, I can tell you that Raila was going to sweep. Were you friend of President Uhuru Kenyatta, friend of who, and friend of who? And the president himself was on campaign trail saying at one point that unlike mimi mwenye nimeona mlikuwa mnaweza survive na mimi, najua Martha na Raila hawatacheza, wao watafanya kazi. I remember when the president spoke about that in one of the rallies in Nairobi. So there were people in Statehouse and leaders around President Uhuru Kenyatta that also feared Raila Odinga presidency. Because the whole issues about cartels, the whole issues about the corruption and all that, these were people that, these are deals that could only be executed by people at the nerve center of power. And Uhuru's handlers were also double staking. There was a lot of double chance where you support Raila knowing that you want to have a stake in the next government, but on the other end, you also support William Ruto. And you cannot be shocked. And I'm not saying this one of the team. I read a tweet by who? I think it's one of the leaders, I think it's Ledemo Rokin or someone, who was saying that Kisii Governor Ongwae was spending all time and was closest to Raila Odinga during campaigns. Alikuwa anasema Ongwae alibeba vitu zake anaenda analala kwa mzee. But Ongwae became the first leader to decamp and join Kenya Kwanza. Look at that. So what are we talking about here? What we are saying is that there are leaders that, and people who are around the president, fully supporting President Uhuru Kenyatta and supporting the president. But President Kio Hapambe, yes, Raila ni fifth, tutapata hii, this. But again, after all wakishake hizi strategies, maybe sitting out, they go and reach out to the other side. So that double staking made the Statehouse team to be infiltrated. Because I am persuaded that if the ICT, the electronic infrastructure at the commission was a problem, and it could be prone to manipulation, or maybe there's something that was happening, or let's just use a good example, the 3 Venezuelans. If that was the situation, and there is something that could be done, that thing could have been done. Or we just say that Raila's victory was not snatched. There are two options. Either someone slept on the duty, or Raila's victory was not snatched. The church candidate won. Now, but this also emerged. Uhuru Kenyatta's loyalty was divided. Yes, it was divided. Listen to Maina Kamanda. Where is Murathe? That tells you there are people, it was divided. Maina Kamanda is saying that President Uhuru Kenyatta was a tell-it-all and could not listen to anyone. In fact, according to him, he went on extreme saying that because the president did not listen to other people kwa sababu halikuwa, no, that's not it. Even though I also agree that at some point, the Statehouse operative, especially Nairobi, they needed to hand over that ticket to Tim Wanyonyi. Because if you compare Tim Wanyonyi and Igathe did not add votes to Raila Odinga's basket. In fact, Raila gave Igathe votes. But with Tim Wanyonyi, the 6-piece euphoria would have really worked in favor of Raila. Maybe. You can look at it that way. The governor and the senator won, but also not to underscore the individual capacity of the candidates in the ballot. So the loyalty of the president was divided. This ties with the people that were there. But you also can't underestimate the fact that there were camp around president that were intimidated. And they were intimidated because some of them were professionals who had just got jobs to Statehouse. Now, for the first time, they were to execute political activities or political roles. And some of these political roles, they feared, there was a fear of unknown, that if we do this and the country plunges to violence or lawlessness emerge, how are you going to be judged and how is destiny going to judge us? There were also that, because there was a lot of uncertainty. In fact, Kenya Kwanza played a reverse psychology on state officials, saying they were even doing some ICC online petitions on ICC that arrest so and so is doing this, arrest so and so is doing this, that is planning to, already the fear was created, and the fear was created out of even that public outburst on this and that happened. So that Kenya Kwanza profiling state officials worked in their advantage, because there are some state officials who could not make political moves. Maybe this time they are now to make political moves and it could not happen. And this played out. We were even wondering that the team that allegedly, the Rafael Tuju team that allegedly met Wafula Chebukati, were talking about it is kulikuwa na I don't know. I don't even want to go there. So I want to believe that President truly supported Raila Odinga. But that Goodwill did not get full backing of his operatives. Maybe lessons for the future. And that is what people interpret as Raila wanted to be given. I don't think that is it. It's not a matter of wanted to be given. It is just as simple as someone who was supposed to do something in that campaign structure did not play his role. And in future, if you have a political ambitions, it is not wrong. Give this to William Ruto. It is not wrong for you to be the accountant, for you to be the chief. It's not for you. It's not bad for you to be hands-on. If you want to support me, give me the money. Let me be hands-on. I'll always call and say, so and so, have you done this? But a situation where the accountant is the other side, the other person is paying the agent, that it was difficult in Azimio, by the way. Even if you get a tender, hii tu ya kupeana, kuprint hizi t-shirts, kupata hiyo pesa, it was not easy. You will really be taken through as circles, and the people who work, some people will tell you that it's the issue about financing was a big issue. So William Ruto got something right on being hands-on, but Raila was the campaign team. They campaigned, going to the ground. They did their best. Messaging, it was well organized, both on ground, online, team, in YouTube. But the software team, for me, was the weak link. And that is this take. That's my take on Otiende Amollo's revelation.